Alright guys, welcome to Art Class 101. Today is our workshop for clay. Today we'll be making a pinch pot. But before we start doing pinch pots, let's go over a couple items. We have purchased a large 25-pound bag of modeling clay. White modeling clay, correct. And with this, the cool thing about clay, the cool thing that I really find about clay is that it's earth. Clay comes from the earth, and we can make this bag of clay be anything that we want it to be, which is kind of cool. So we're like reforming, reshaping the earth, which is pretty awesome. It's like kind of what God did when He created us. You know, He created you, He created me, He created the world, and we're lucky enough to recreate this to be anything we want. This right here, it's a little dusty. It's been in the attic for a little bit. But anyway, this is called a bat. See, we have these two holes right here. These holes would go onto a potter's wheel. And then the potter's wheel would spin. And you put your clay in the center of it, and you try and center it. But since we don't have a potter's wheel, we're just going to use this to put our clay piece on when we're done with it. Same thing with this. You can use like a foam mat or anything that you want, and we can put our clay on it, store it, and keep it alive as long as we need to. Anyway, this tool, sorry about that. This tool right here is basically a, what do you think it is?
It's a clay cutter thing.
It is a clay cutter thing. So this is two pieces of wood with a metal wire connected to both. And what we can do with this is we can grab our clay and we can slice off nice little chunks for whatever project we want. So you can also use fishing line, you can use a guitar string, things like that to cut clay. So today we're going to be making a pinch pot. What kind of tools are we going to need to make a pinch pot? What do you think, Ray? Do we need any tools?
Yes.
What tools do we need?
Sculpting tools.
That is exactly correct. What do you think, Risa?
Our fingers to pinch.
Our fingers to pinch. Yes, our tools that we're going to be using today, besides our clay cutting piece right here, is our fingers. We're making a pinch pot. How do you think you make a pinch pot?
By pinching and pinching and pinching.
Pinching and pinching and pinching. That is correct.
Like this.
So, alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut us off a little bit of clay each.
Okay.
Okay? And once we have a little bit of clay, we're going to make it into a ball. But something that everybody needs to be aware of is if you trap air into clay and you leave that air in the clay, whenever it's fired, when we put it in the kiln to be fired and get hardened, basically, the first step of the process after we sculpt it is air expands with heat. And guess what happens when air expands with heat?
It might explode it.
Exactly. It can break the clay and explode. So what we're going to do is our best is to not trap air into the clay. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. But the more careful you are, the more vigilant you are, the less likely you are to have an air bubble. And I've done it before. My mom sent me a picture of my pinch pot where the bottom just blew out. But, you know, it still looked nice. I glazed it, and I gave it to her for Mother's Day, and she loved it. So, anyway, she still has it to this day. So, all right, so I'm going to start getting some clay and get ready to go. For other projects, we're going to open up the mighty tool chest and open up what tools we have inside and see what creations we can create. But we're not going to need to get in that today. All right, you guys ready?
Yeah.
All right,
So excited.
Let's see how this goes. Now, things to remember about clay. Besides, we don't want to trap air bubbles into it. We want to keep our air or our clay moist, and that's why they packaged it in this plastic bag. It keeps it moist and wet. You can see the moisture on it, right? Like I can touch it and it's all like, whoa, it's super sticky. Yeah, you can touch it too, right? Well, okay, just touch it. You're gonna get dirty, so that's why you're gonna want to have some clothes. Are you okay with what you're wearing, Ray? Okay, so let me cut off a little piece and see how this goes. Camera grab moves. Okay. And that's probably too much clay, but I'm just putting it around and I pull it through.
And that's why you use a clay cutter.
We have a slice of clay.
Oh, the inside looks so cool.
I know, right? You can see all the lines from the
Like-
wire, the texture from the wire. Yeah, you can touch it.
So, if you touch it wide enough, you can feel the texture.
Okay, so now let's see if I can remember what I'm doing. It's been such a long time. All right, so there's something called kneading the clay.
Oh,
Kneading the clay is probably like kneading the dough, like what your mom does or
I
what
know.
Nana does when
I do
she's
that
making
every
bread.
time. I remember doing
So-
that in art camp.
So basically, I'm gonna try and push into the table, push down, pull back, push down, pull back. It's only sticking slightly to the table, so that's not too bad. And then we're gonna try and get it into a ball shape without putting any air into it. I got a crease right here in the center table, so I gotta work around it. Anyway, hopefully everybody can see what's going on. So I'm gonna knead the first one for you guys, and then I'll let you knead some. Alright, so I'm just pushing it in and pushing down and pushing out.
Hey, it looks like a ball.
That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to get it into the shape of a ball. And what are we gonna do when we get it into the shape of a ball? Alright, this is working out alright. So now we have
A ball.
a ball of clay. I'm hitting it, making sure if there's any air bubbles in it, they're kind of working themselves out. I'm also shaping it into a ball, slightly turning it, okay? So I'm gonna cut you guys some clay, and we're gonna go from there. It might be a little big, so I'll try and make it a little bit smaller.
Can I have this one?
Yep.
I have the last one because I like last.
Okay, who wants to pull theirs?
Me.
Okay, pull it. Pull all the way through. Good job. Now we're gonna peel off the clay. Look at that cool texture you created with the wire. All right, Ray, let's get your slice.
I'm not good at
Yeah, but this is part of the workshop. We're all gonna do art, okay? I'll line it up for you, and then all you have to do
It's like slightly pulled.
is pull straight towards you, man.
Pull.
Just pull.
Pull back.
You can't mess up, man. Okay, pull towards. Okay, pull towards you. Look, you just sliced off a huge chunk of clay. Okay, so here, let me lift it up for you. There's your piece of clay. How cool is that?
It's heavy.
I know, right? So now, since we are done cutting off clay, Mom, did you want to make some?
You can make your own pot.
Yeah, you work on your plate, so I'm doing one.
I don't even remember.
All right, so remember, since our clay is wet, we want to keep it that way. Once clay dries, does it get soft or hard?
Hard.
That's right, it gets hard. So that's why we're gonna keep it moist. I'm gonna get all the air out of the bag.